What is the fastest escrow you've ever seen close? Yeah, I've seen some pretty quick ones, but what about you? You deal with this a lot more than I do.
Cash deal, 7 days.
7 days? So that's the fastest. All cash. Fastest we're going to close the deal is 7 days. All right. I've had some of those. Hey everybody, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Today we have with us Dora Vaquez. She's a good friend of mine. We've known each other for how long, Dora? Over 10 years. And today she is going to be talking to us about escrow. What is escrow and the escrow process? So how's it going, Dora? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in the business.
Hi, again, my name is Dora Vaquez. I have been in the business since 1986. I don't have a calculator in front of me, so we're not going to calculate how many years it is, but it's over 35 years maybe.
And where are you currently working at?
West Ventura County Escrow. I have been here for 10 years, and we are in a transition right now. We are going to become Opus Escrow, an independent escrow company, which we are just waiting for our license to come over.
Nice, nice. So you were in-house with Keller, and now you guys are going independent, right?
Correct.
All right, Dora. So tell us a little bit more about the escrow process. What exactly is escrow? I know we hear this word thrown around a lot in the industry. Tell our clients, tell our watchers, what exactly is escrow?
We are a neutral third party to the buyers and the sellers throughout the home buying process. We in escrow have a fiduciary duty to both parties involved in the transaction, and we act according to the purchase agreement.
So when you're a buyer or a seller and you get an offer accepted on your property, so you have a buyer that's going to buy the house, offer accepted. Next step is to open up escrow. So we send you all the paperwork, and you are basically going to handle all the paperwork, handle all the funds, and get us to closing, right?
That is correct. We work with both agents, with the lenders, with the seller, the buyers, termite companies. We pretty much work with everybody involved, and at the end of the day, we pay everybody involved.
Nice, nice. So basically, the house can't get sold unless there's an escrow process, right? You're going to transfer the title, make sure all the loans paid off, and you basically handle all of my crazy requests, right?
I love handling your crazy requests because you pretty much already know what you want, what you need. So that part's the easiest part. And yes, we order a preliminary title report. We do work with a title company. Any judgment liens that the seller might have, we will order demands. Everything will be paid off. We will hand to the buyer free and clear title to them.
Okay. So when the property's finally closed, you're in charge of making sure that everything's done correctly and that the title's transferred to the new owner.
That is correct.
So who typically chooses the escrow? How's the escrow opened up? Who handles that? Who handles that in the transaction?
Typically, it's the seller's choice. The listing agent will dictate who escrow goes to. There are instances that the buyer's agent will write in the offer the escrow title company of choice. And if the seller does not counter it out, then it'll go to the company that the buyer has chosen. Or most of the times, purchase agreements will say seller's choice. So it's whoever the listing agent chooses to open with.
So the seller is supposed to be the one to choose the escrow company, but what we find most of the time, it's most likely the listing agent choosing, right?
That is correct.
And so, and the buyer can write it in if they have a particular person they work with. But what I find as well is typically the seller or the listing agent chooses the escrow company. I know that I try as much when I'm on the buyer side to write you guys in whenever possible.
I appreciate that.
All right, so once escrow is finally opened, like how long is a traditional escrow process?
Normally it's about 30 days. give and take, a couple days here and there, or if the buyers are on it with the lender, if there's a loan and anything that the lender is asking for, they submit to them right away. I mean, there are times we close escrow in 3 weeks. It just depends on the process of it. Every escrow is different. There is not one alike.
You guys, right when we hopped on the call, I got a message. You guys just closed an escrow for us today. Thank you. And it was a 30-day escrow. And what did it take? I think we're at like 44 days or something like that, 42 days. So unfortunately, this one went over. The sellers weren't too happy, but we closed. So
we closed.
Yay, hooray, congratulations. Thank you for the smooth escrow process. What is the fastest escrow you've ever seen close? Yeah, I've seen some pretty quick ones, but what about you? You deal with this a lot more than I do.
Cash deal, 7 days.
7 days? So that's the fastest. All cash, fastest we're going to close the deal is 7 days? All right. I've had some of those.
It all depends on if there's HOA, city report. Those all take a little bit of time, especially homeowners association documents. But if it's a quick cash deal, no HOA, no city, and the prelims in, which most of your escrows, we already have a prelim in hand prior to acceptance of an offer. It's it could be very, very quick.
So in those 7 days, walk us through it. Like what do you have to do within those 7 days to get the deal closed?
Open escrow, send out opening packages to the seller and the buyers. Normally, we will send buyers opening package via DocuSign. Seller's package, if they're in town, we ask that they come in. That way we could get everything ordered, order any payoff demands that need to be ordered if they have any current loans, notarize their grant deed. And pretty much that's the blunt of it. Once all of that is completed, we have payoffs in. We prepare estimated closing statement, buyer signs, seller signs, buyer sends money in, we close escrow.
And I heard you mention that if there's no HOA, you could do it that fast. What is it about having an HOA that makes the escrow process longer?
We do have some homeowners association companies that have a document service. There's 2 particular that take up to 10 days to send us documents. Of course, they do have a rush fee for $150, $200 that sellers sometimes do not want to pay that, which then, can delay closing of an escrow. We typically order HOA documents the day of opening. They do have upfront fees, so depending on how soon the seller can pay the funds is when the clock starts ticking.
So yeah, we've run into that quite a few times where we can't even close the transaction because we're just waiting on these HOA docs. What is in that HOA packet that's so important and necessary in order to close escrow?
Pretty much it's the required documents, CC&Rs, bylaws, rules and regulations, budget, minutes, everything that is that the seller has to give to the buyer for a part of the disclosure package that they received. They have their 17 days contingency period, and we do try to get those documents before the 17 days so they can have time to review the documents.
I just had a couple deals canceled because of the HOA docs. Once the HOA docs came in and got reviewed, we pulled the plug, unfortunately. So I heard you mention preliminary title report a couple times. Can you talk to us about that? What is a prelim?
Preliminary title report is a report based on that particular property that is in escrow, and it'll show anything that any lien that is recorded against the seller will show on the preliminary title report. Liens, loans, any kind of judgments. It is our duty to clear any liens of record that belong to the seller to give buyer clear title.
And that's super important. One of the first things I do as soon as I get a new house for sale, new listing, is I order that prelim. Because there's times where there's something on there and it takes months to have it cleared up. I think one time a transaction went like 2-3 months because we were trying to get like some old lien cleared off the title. So for you buyers out there, make sure that that you get that prelim as soon as you get an escrow. Make sure that it's been reviewed and there's no outstanding liens for the seller. You know, because that can cause some serious delays.
If it's a common name for a seller, we try to get the statement of information in right away, which then title will do a search on the name, social security number, the driver's license. That's why they ask for a 10-year history of their information to run their, run the name and make sure that there are no liens out there for them.
Yeah, one deal I did, one that had like a 40-year lien, a 40-year-old lien, something like that, and they couldn't find it, and it was just a nightmare. So agents, get your prelims as soon as you take that listing. That's one thing I noticed not all agents out there are doing. So how much does escrow cost, and who usually takes care of this fee?
Typically, it's split in half between the seller and the buyer. On occasion, the seller will pay for the full fee, the buyer will pay for it, but very rarely. It's typically 50-50.
In real estate, everything is negotiable, right?
Everything is negotiable.
What's a little off topic? What's something crazy you've seen a seller use to pay the buying agent? Like, instead of just a commission, have you ever seen anything thrown in lieu of the commission?
No, I do.
Like a car or anything like that?
No. If it's a agent purchasing the home, they do waive their commission. That's as crazy as it gets.
I'm still waiting for a seller to tell me, hey, sell my house and I'll let you have my Mercedes or something like that.
That would be nice.
Okay, so here's a good one that I get a lot. So let's say the seller is not in the area. Let's say they're out of the country, out of the state. How does the escrow process change? Like, how do you get signatures from someone that's in a different country?
Typically, DocuSign will work for any escrow documents that we need. As for anything that needs to be notarized, we email the document to the seller. They print, they make an appointment to go to the U.S. Embassy. And sometimes it could be days before they can get in, maybe weeks. So we get that email to them right away. We send them an overnight label. They go to the U.S. Embassy. They sign the document, put it back in. I mean, it'll take a couple of days for it to come back, depending on where they're at. But for the most part, UPS Photo Express is pretty good.
Okay. So yeah, U.S. Embassy, that could be tough if they're not near one.
I've had sellers have to drive hours to get there. So it just depends where they're at.
We've had a deal where you had to try to go get signatures like in the middle of the night or something like that. It was a pretty crazy to get that deal closed. I want to hear in the comments from, any of people that have purchased a home or any agents, like, what is some of the craziest things you've had to do to get an escrow to close on time to get all the signatures? I've heard some crazy ones, but I'd love to hear some more. So please leave those in the comments.
I would like to share one of the craziest things that I did to close a transaction. I went to pick up loan documents at the Oxnard Airport. They were flown out here from Arizona. So the notary met the buyers at the airport in Arizona. The documents got into the airplane. The pilot flew out here to Oxnard. I picked him and his co-pilots up, came back to the office, left them at Popeyes so they can eat lunch. I went to the office, packaged the docs, went back to pick them up, took them and the documents back to the airport so they could fly the documents to the lender in somewhere in Orange County. Loan funded and closed that following Monday.
That's awesome. That's awesome. See, Dora goes above and beyond. That's why I love Dora.
I try.
Gosh, we go way back. So how long did you say you've been doing escrow at the current company you're with?
10 years.
10 years. So before you became an escrow officer there, you used to be my transaction coordinator. I forgot about that. So we go way back.
Yes.
I was mad at you when you left me to go do escrow. The good old days.
The good old days.
Okay, so here's a good one. What do I need to bring with me at the closing table? What do I need to bring to sign all the final paperwork? How does that work? Because us as agents, we never check IDs. So that's always, up in the air, wondering about that. So I really don't know who this person is. And, we really rely on escrow to confirm the identity. So how do you guys do that? How do you make sure there's no fraud involved in the transaction?
We do ask for your driver's license or a passport. There are documents in the loan documents that need to be notarized. As with the seller, the grant deed, we have to make sure that this is the seller who is signing the grant deed. So it would be the same with the buyer. The buyer will be signing the deed of trust and a few other documents that will need to be notarized, and we got to make sure that they are who they are. When I started back in the business in 1986, it was, oh, I know this person, let's just notarize. But that's where all the fraud started. People would bring in and say, this is so-and-so, and it really wasn't so-and-so. So as years have gone by, everything's gotten stricter because of reasons like that.
That's crazy. I've seen that happen where people they're trying to sell a house. They don't even own it, right?
It could happen.
What else? Any other questions you could think of?
So one other thing that has happened a lot with escrow, the buyers are from out of the area, and it's time to sign loan documents, and we're trying to close within a day or two. That is not a problem either. We do use national notary associations in out of the area, and I've received docs, say at noon. I send them to my notary company. They meet with the buyers. They sign the buyers. They send out documents same day back to me. I receive them the following day. We fund and close the following day. So everything's possible in escrow, and, we make magic happen.
Magic. I love it. So tell everyone, what separates you guys? What separates Dora Vaquez from the rest of the escrow officers out there? What's something that buyers and sellers need to be aware of when choosing an escrow company?
I've been in the business for 30 some years. I come in early. I'm usually here before 7 o'clock every day. I take pride in what I do. I try to answer all of my phone calls. I respond to emails in as fast as I can. I'm here to make your dreams come true.
Dream maker. I know that's, you've always went above and beyond for us. So that's why we love you, Dora. Thank you so much. So how can someone, what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you if they have any questions about escrow or need to open up an escrow? What's the best contact info for you?
My office number is 805-351-3494, or you could email me at dora@wvcescrow.com, soon to change to dora@opusescrowinc.com. Of course, you can get a hold of Jason Walters, and he would put you in touch with me.
Awesome. Thank you, Dora. Thank you so much. If you found value from the video, please remember to like. Please subscribe. We're going to be doing lots more videos like this. It really helps the channel. Dora, thank you so much for joining us. I know
thank you, Jason.
These videos are always a little tough sometimes, so we appreciate it. If you have any questions for Dora, please reach out to her directly. You can also leave any questions in the comments. We'll make sure to answer those. And please stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us.